Hi, Gary here. A book came out in 1989, The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People, written by Stephen Covey. I think over 15 million copies have been sold. Very popular book. But habit number 2 is begin with the end in mind. And that's what you want to look at when you take on debt, any kind of debt. Saying, what will that give you at the end? And that will help you determine if that debt is good debt or bad debt. So what's good debt? Well, good debt is generally something that you buy some real hard assets that appreciate over time. So as the debt goes down, the assets appreciate. Also, for any capabilities you might want, i.e. For school or for other kinds of education that then will allow you to raise your income source up so you can pay that debt off in a reasonable period of time. And then for businesses and so forth, where there's some deductibility there that makes it easy to pay that debt off over time. There's bad debt, and bad debt really, there isn't any value out of it. You consume it immediately, like food or clothing or other things that just depreciate and go away. Cars and vehicles and so forth, the same thing. And really, it's a necessary evil because you might need those things to live, but they're really not going to provide you with any appreciation, so it's just all an expense and nothing else. So what's some examples of some bad debt? Well, first off, could be student loans. And the general rule of thumb is if it costs more money than you can pay off over 10 years, with the capability you're going to have coming out of the school, whatever that degree happens to be, it could be a beginning degree where you make $30,000 a year, or I believe engineers now, they're at $65,000 to $75,000 a year. So based on those two levels, you could take on more debt with the one versus the other. The second area are vehicle loans. Again, do you have to buy a new vehicle? That expense will be much higher on that debt. So maybe you look at buying a used vehicle. Or maybe you'll look at Uber or other sources so you don't even have to have a vehicle. But you look at that from the standpoint of how that will, what that will cost you over time, and try to minimize it as much as possible, because really you're just looking for transportation, really nothing else. And then there's credit cards. And credit cards are fine if you want to use that to fund paying your expenses, so long as you take on a credit card debt and then pay it off every month, not a problem. However, if you start accumulating credit card debt, the interest rates are very high, and typically the things you buy are all depreciating, and therefore you really have stuck with this debt and no asset. That's not good. No asset and liabilities means you go backwards. Good debt, again, could be student loans. You pay so much for that education, and you could pay that loan off in less than 10 years, and that typically is okay. That student loan would be good. Real estate, buying a home, buying commercial real estate, buying investment real estate. Again, generally speaking, the real estate value goes up, the debt will go down. It's basically our free market economy, it's our capitalist system, and we're able to grow wealth effectively that way. And then finally, commercial loans and business loans for building businesses, although there's more risk there if you do get into your own business and need that capital to grow your business. But again, if the business does grow going forward and the debt is reduced, you're building wealth over time, and that would be a recipe for success long term. So when you look at your own situation and you look at your cash flow, you look on taking debt, consider it good or bad debt, minimize as much as you can on the bad debt side, and obviously take as much as you can on the good debt side to move your wealth forward wherever you're happening to going in life. And that's generally a good rule of thumb. So until next time, enjoy.